Hey everybody, it's Jason with Parallel Reality coming back with you here today to go over some more stupidity in our media, specifically our sports media, because, they can't let a day go without accusing somebody of, this word that I'm highlighting right here on your screen. So let's go through this. This article is from Outkick, dated June 22nd. It says, Ron DeSantis calls basketball players athletic. USA Today's Mike Friedman yells, racism. So let's skip past the beautiful Tommy Lahren there and go straight down. And she pops up over here. Well, hi. She's going to keep us company during this talk. All right. So the article says Governor Ron DeSantis noticed aloud what most of America has long understood. Basketball players are more athletic than baseball players. And as a former baseball player, nothing major, high school freshman, was this the most advanced I ever got to, but I played Little League for a long time. I'm talking Little League like kids, but up until what was I, 20? Then played softball for a number of years. So organized baseball / softball was always a thing in my life. I think I've played those for half of my life, and I would wholeheartedly agree with Ron DeSantis that basketball players are more athletic than baseball players. I don't even know why that's an argument. So the article continues, says, but according to Mike Friedman of USA Today, saying so is a dog whistle for the racist whites, or as Friedman calls it, a bullhorn, because everything to these leftist morons is a bullhorn. And Ron DeSantis saying something that is just true, that I would guarantee, every baseball player actually agrees with, even the professionals, somehow is racist. But let's see what it says here. So here's what DeSantis said in an interview with the Christian Broadcasting Network. He said, quote, so I think that there's kind of a place for everybody on a baseball team if you're willing to work hard, if you're willing to practice, and if you're willing to hone your skills. I kind of thought it was always a very democratic game, a very meritocratic game. Whereas I kind of viewed basketball as these guys are just freaks of nature. They're just incredible athletes. In baseball, you have some guys that might not necessarily be the best athletes, but maybe they've got, that slider that nobody can hit, or they have the skills that allow them to compete at the highest level. So and here's how Freeman covered the comments. Quote, DeSantis was essentially talking about two leagues, about how the mostly black one, the NBA, is full of freaky athletes with fast twitch muscles and apparently not as democratic or meritocratic or whatever-cratic as baseball players. Then, according to DeSantis, there's baseball, or the MLB, the mostly white sport, full of okay athletes, but gosh darn, do they work hard and form democracies and meritocratic republics. They're not freaks at all. They're real Americans. Okay, so this Mike Friedman, right off the bat, you're a stupid human being. These two things are not the same. Okay, you are inferring something from here that DeSantis didn't even hint at, trying to say this is what he actually meant. Okay, and I've dealt on a very personal level with another human being that was like that, and it's a pain in the ass to have to explain to people, you can't read my mind. You can't just infer things from what I say and then just go, oh no, you actually meant to say that, when it's I didn't even think about that. Okay, you can't do that. Plus, this guy, I'll tell you right now, is the R word that he's accusing Ron DeSantis of being, because he's the one bringing it up, and he's the one saying, oh, you're talking about this particular league that way, and this other league. Plus, baseball, I think, is actually mostly Hispanic now, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong about that. But anyway, and he's the one attributing all of these things to these leagues. So this dude is the exact thing he's complaining that Ron DeSantis supposedly is, which he's not. So let's keep going here with the actual article itself. It says, Friedman embodies the problematic nature of an outlet deploying a writer only to screech about racism. There is not enough racism to screech over, forcing fools like Friedman to manufacture examples. That is 100% correct. Says DeSantis is correct in that basketball is a game of athleticism. Baseball is less so. Turn on both the NBA and MLB and no one can dispute that claim. That's correct. There's a lot of standing around in baseball. There's not a lot of standing around in basketball. Okay, so it says including Freeman, that talks about disputing the claim. So it says, it's true that the NBA is more black than the MLB is more white. Who cares? So the reasons for that are multiple. Some of it has to do with interest among young athletes, geographic location, culture, access, etc. That's correct. It says most kids want to play basketball, but white kids are on average less athletic, so they settle for baseball. There's nothing wrong with that. So if anything, the stereotypes are negative towards white athletes. That's correct. Ask Nikola Jokic, who faces more racial discrimination than any pro athlete in America. Yeah, you can just go to ESPN and see how they essentially rip on him for being a white guy. Because he had total control over that. So it says Mike Freeman sees color and nothing else. Yeah, that's what I was just saying. So this article says, yet whatever the underlying reasons are for the disparity, it doesn't prove what DeSantis said wrong. Are we supposed to pretend something objectively true is not true because it might offend someone from USA Today? Right. That further, there are exceptions. Quite glaring exceptions, that is. The best player in basketball is white, it's Jokic. Says the two best players in MLB are Asian, that's Shohei Ohtani of the Angels, and biracial, it's Aaron Judge of the Yankees. And I think Aaron Judge might actually be the highest or second highest paid player in baseball right now as well. So just throwing that little nugget in there as well. So it says the racialization of both leagues is overblown. The best players succeed no matter their color, or no matter their skin color. That's correct. That's always how these things are in sports. The fact that the races of the players are even a conversation demonstrates how the corporate press hopes to derail the progression of society. Governor DeSantis didn't suggest baseball players are real Americans. Right, yeah, I should have mentioned that as well when I was going over what Mike Freeman said. Yeah, that, again, was something that Mike Freeman, that is, added into the commentary to try to be like, this is what was said, and when it wasn't. Says he didn't undermine black players either. That's correct. Says DeSantis, like most non-media figures, isn't blinded to the races of the athletes. That said, we understand Mike Freeman's suspicions. Freeman only sees color, so he's the racist. Says he views every story and comments through a racial lens. Race permeates every thought he publicizes. Mike Freeman assumes everyone is that way. Yes, Mike Freeman is a piece of crap. Okay, he is an actual R-word. You know, he is an actual this thing you hear. He is a racism, if we'll call it that. He's the exact thing he claims to be fighting against. And he will never figure that out. He doesn't possess the ability to. Okay, so Mike Freeman, how about you, actually, if you're going to quote somebody, you quote what they actually said and don't read into it. Okay, and if you're going to read into it, maybe you should ask them for clarification before just going, oh, this is what he actually meant. Okay, and I know you guys at the USA Today are leftists and you have a hate boner for anything that's considered, to the to the right of Chairman Mao. So, maybe stop being dickheads and, find out what the person actually meant and not just assuming things, okay? Anyway, this kind of stuff just frustrates me because I hate when people take things out of context for me personally, and I can't imagine what it's like for, just public figures when people just go, oh, that person really meant this thing that they probably never even thought about. But let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Like, share, and subscribe, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.